So I work for FranklinCovey, and FranklinCovey has a mission, and the mission is we enable greatness in people and organizations everywhere. Personal leadership, our assumption is it's not luck. It's not something that is only for the lucky few, for the people with an amount of money, with people with a healthy background. It's when you really thoroughly look to success and you model the people who are very successful. It's interesting that success leaves clues. Covey, he did not make these things up, the 7 habits. He researched these clues aligned to success. So, you know, he just stole and cherry-picked the best practices of all these successful people, and he said these principles, you could align that metaphorically to law of nature. Let's dive into this leadership thing, personal leadership. How would we define great leaders then, right? Well, obviously the first thing, if we look to a company or in a professional life, leaders are aligned to the results they achieve. That's the honest answer. If you don't get the results, then basically you will get fired or asked to do something else. This is a premise in order to move forward. But the most interesting question then is how achieve people results? Well, obviously it's then about what they do, right? The actions that they take on a daily basis. But how do I take action then? What's aligned to these actions? And now it becomes more interesting. Now we go more in the field of psychology. Obviously my actions are aligned to the way I think, to the meta-programs I have programmed in my head. What are these things? What are these thoughts, these voices in my head? Here we go again, standing in front of a crowd. Don't black out, don't black out. I see your eyes now looking at me. I mean, no. Where focus goes, energy flows. How can I turn this thing around? Who am I? I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I have this voice in my head as well. You have that voice too. We all have them, right? Let's agree and accept for a moment that we have these voices. And some people, some trainers, say that we need to get rid of that voice. Dear friends, I think we're not able. My best practice to you would be making friends with that silly voice, but take control nevertheless. So, hey voice, I hear you, and it's okay. You feel the relaxation from the moment we accept that there is that silly voice in our head. But if we neglect it, or even worse, try to push it away, it becomes that skippy ball that's popping up, especially in a moment I don't want it to. So I thought how to change that thought. This is just an example, but in your head you're thinking about your own experiences right now. You're thinking about, hey, what's the moment that I don't want to black out? What's the moment that I want to achieve these specific results? And what are the thoughts that are running in my head? Let's shake hands with that thought. Hey, good that you're here. There's your chair. Thank you very much. And from that moment, is what do I want? And especially if you know or thoroughly think about what you want, what your voice is, what's really your real you, as you said it, it's obviously, I think people in the back can't read it, it's who you are, and who you are is obviously aligned to the things from the past, right? So the things from the past create your competitive advantage, but at the same end, it creates this ego image of us, this ego image. And that ego image obviously, wants to feel better or get rid of that silly voice in our head. And most of the times we achieve or align that to external goals and facts, such as try to wear this jacket, try to wear these clothes. If I drive this car, then I will be happy. If I have this amount of money on my bank account. I will be happy if my girlfriend would just listen for me once. I would be happy. So we align all these things to external things, but then, just as the stories or the talks that you previously heard, focusing on making the problem externally is the root cause of the problem itself. So from the moment we stop focusing on the outside and start focusing on the inside a bit more, it becomes more easy to relax. And from that state of relaxation, it becomes more easy to not get hurt of all these external things that, happen. Because that's life. And life gives you challenges either way. So let's create a tangible pattern that you can work with in your daily life in order to higher up, not only focusing on the doing part, but also on that thinking part, right? And we call that paradigms.
As you can see, our team's doing fantastic. We should have that all wrapped up in okay, appreciate that.
So much of what we do in our personal lives and at the office is the result of the paradigms we hold. And what we do, in turn, affects the results we get.
Thanks for coming to the meeting today, everyone.
The word paradigm comes from the Greek root paradigma, meaning pattern. The pattern we expect to see, or the mental image of the way things are. We see everything through the perspective of our own paradigm. If you see your industry as one where growth is impossible, how does that affect what you do every day? And what results do you think you'll get from your actions? On the other hand, suppose you saw unlimited prospects for growth in your industry. How would that change your actions? What we see, our paradigms, determine what we do, which in turn determines what we get. And unless we consciously stand apart from and examine our paradigms, we might never see that perhaps many of them are distorted, short-sighted, or just flat out wrong.
So interesting enough, if we see its paradigms, I call them often the metaphorical glasses we wear, the filter that we have. So where does these paradigms come from then? How are paradigms born?
Culture, education, environment.
Yes, culture, education, all our experiences. Yes, childhood, super important, right? The way we've been raised, etc., etc. HR calls this often the backpack of the employee. The backpack of the employee, and every employee has his own backpack, right? It's not wrong, it's your competitive advantage. But now, in some circumstances, the way we see the world are not helpful for the results we want to get. Results can align to health, can align to relationships, can align to your job or profession, can align to finance, etc. You can have these six tangible human needs. Basically, we will get a challenge in all of these, somewhere, somehow. So from the moment we walk to this metaphorical wall and we don't get what we want in order to perceive happiness, we could change two different things. So imagine, we have a challenge. What can we do with that challenge? What can I change? I can change what I will be. I can change the doing, right? And I can change the seeing. What's more easy? The doing. Why? Why is it more easy to just do something else?
You have control over it?
You have control over it? Yes, sure. I really believe we have control about our mindset as well, but it's often unconscious. We're not aware of these things. So the good news of doing something differently, it's short term. What's the bad news?
It doesn't stick.
It doesn't stick if it's not aligned to the paradigms that are helpful for the right results we want to get. Imagine you have your pair of glasses, I have lazy employees, and you put that on every morning before you step into office. What would be your management style? Push. What more?
Controlling.
Controlling, yes, pushing, controlling. Would you give a lot of compliments? No. Would you micromanage? Probably. Imagine that you have a manager or a teacher who doesn't see the potential in you, who micromanage, who push, who is in control. What would you do on the long term? How would you change? Hey, vriend. If you know it better than me, just do it yourself, right? So unconsciously, this pattern worked against the results you want to have. Now, all paradigms are born positive. So I could tell him, stop micromanaging, stop doing this, stop doing that, start giving compliments. But if I don't change his paradigm, it would never stick, right? It would never sustain. So I need to have a conversation with him, and the way to change the paradigm is to search for the root where that paradigm is born in the first place. And that's difficult, so now and then, to do, because that's why we don't do it. It makes that we sometimes need to go towards the pain instead of just getting numb and stay being afhankelijk, dependent on your recognition, dependent on, you know, the alcohol that I drink every night to get back to sleep, etc., etc., etc. I say dependent on all these different things if I don't look really thoroughly myself in the mirror. So it takes some time, long term, but if I change this, we saw in the clip, all the rest will change automatically. It doesn't take any energy then. The results in your life are never aligned to the conditions, they are aligned to the decisions that you make every single day. If you are aware of these paradigms, you can choose to change them. I said, hey, what do you want to believe? Hey, how do you want to see your employees? And he said, I want to see my employees as people who are able to do extraordinary things as long as I free the way for them. I said, what a beautiful sentence. As an experiment. Just try. Tomorrow, I will not do the training yet. We will do it in a couple of months. But now, just for experiment, don't expect something to change, but just put off that glasses. They are lazy. We put it over there. And then we put that glasses. They are able to do extraordinary things. And then just do whatever you always have been doing. We discussed a little bit about our thinking patterns, right? We know now how the way we are, the shit from the past, often, determine the way we think. And obviously we know now that the way we think determines the actions that we take. So let's dive now into the doing part. So if I know and I can analyze my thinking, okay, if I check that, yeah, then still I need to do something in order to get the results I want. And that brings us to the main model, the maturity continuum, the main model of the 7 habits. There we have it. The 7 habits. Ta-da! Questions? No? All right, thank you very much. No. Joking. What was the word aligned to dependence? Yeah. You are responsible for my happiness. You are responsible for the result of this workshop. The weather is responsible for if I'm feeling happy or not. You feel it? I play the victim card. So now and then, I'm playing the victim. Why me? You always do this. You. So it's interesting, if you go back to your work, if you go back as students, try to listen to the words people are using. Because their paradigms are discovered by the words people use. So if someone is pointing the finger all the time, you, now you know now on what level it is, right? Not very independent it is. So we go from you to I choose, I decide, I'm sorry. Being independent is also taking responsibility for your mistakes. That's the hard thing here. So if I'm too late due to traffic jams, what do I say? Yeah, sorry, but it was very busy. Or do I just say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I couldn't make it, right? Do I really take responsibility? But if we only stay on there, I, me, look me, like we have some examples, you know, Instagram, yeah, let's do, or I'm going to make a picture of myself now because, woo, definitely going to get some likes now, you know. Moi, how we perceive that? We perceive that as selfish, right? We perceive that as egocentric. Take consideration, I don't think that egocentricness is bad. In the private victory, awesome to be busy with yourself. Because you want to achieve really this independent state. But if we talk about others, check your ego at the gate. and you know, am I acting interested or am I being interesting? Right, and obviously we see now with think win-win, seek first to understand and to be understood, it's being interested in other people that really makes sure that you go further faster. And now we go from I to we. So from you to I, from I to we. And we have different habits in order to help us to achieve that. But then, silly enough, it's a growth continuum. Habit 7, beautifully said. It's a daily practice and even sometimes in utopia. This is really like, we asked Stephen Covey before he passed away, how would you grade yourself from 0 till 10 on these 7 habits? And he said, well, 6 most of the time. We said, you made this up. You created this. You score yourself a 6. I said, yeah, this is super difficult. This takes discipline. This takes hard work in order to manage. Because habit 1, be proactive, is being responsibility. You said it all, able to respond. Am I able? Do I really choose my response, or do I just get in my reflect mode, emotional mode? You know, I say things I regret afterwards. Well, obviously with me as well. If someone comes to me and he really, you know, gives me this type of feedback that I really think, oh yeah, that's wonderfully put, you know. I don't like you. Everything in me feels like, oh, there's a mini volcano, right? Kikken, spugen. Nee, mag niet. You know? It's super difficult. Super difficult then to count till 10, breathe. Often I step into a course that I as well don't know really my end in mind. Hey, what do I really want to gain out of this course? Well, don't know. I want to have fun and I want to meet other people. Yeah, then it becomes more difficult to really discern the things that you want to perceive, etc., etc. That's the last thing I'm going to share to you about this slide. A lot of times, if we talk about leadership, I see people who are sitting here saying, hey, we want to go to the we state. Yeah, let's do it together. And you have people in your team sitting on the dependent state. Like this, you know, it's like sitting here, like waiting until in an office you don't have this classroom bell anymore, but it's like, yep, 4 o'clock, okay, bye now. You know, and you have then a manager working really hard. Like, come on guys, come on. Communication, come on, work together, come on. This is the biggest pitfall I see managers make. They neglect that people who are here first need to go to here. First need to go to here before they can go to here. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is if there's somebody who don't take responsibility, he first needs to take responsibility himself before you can ever go to the interdependent state. Because otherwise, I'm doing all the work as a manager. And we have a saying, the sweat is on the wrong back. The sweat needs to be on the right back, so to say. So if you have a team member sitting like here, like, it has to do something with the paradigms, obviously. Are we willing to really connect and ask someone from curiosity, how are you doing? May I ask, why are you here? From curiosity, right? Why are you here? You're not forced. We're not labor, forced labor here. That you wake up and you have a guy pinpointing a gun to your head. No, you made all these decisions. You wake up, you brushed your teeth, you put on your clothes, you came all the way here, and I don't see anything of heart, spirit. I'm really curious. If you work here together, I want to see your heart. I want to feel your spirit. And often this is a super difficult conversation because then we need to challenge our own curiosity. Do I really want to know? If that answers a no, I think you shouldn't be a leader in the first place. Right? You should have been a great an individual contributor with technical skills. But being a leader, you need people skills, right? But take that in consideration. If you work with others, they need to decide themselves. My most important mantra that I can give you as a trainer or doing leadership courses is: people always want to change, but never ever want to be changed. And we feel that because we had this situation ourselves where someone wanted to change us and we thought, it's not going to happen. And the harder he worked, the more creative we become in order to neglect that. Right? People always want to change, but never ever want to be changed. So, that was quite a journey, was it? I want to thank you so much for your energy, your participation, and your inspiration, your questions. I really liked it. Sometimes my friends say to me, Glenn, are you always so optimistic? Stop being as optimistic. But I really believe that with these steps, with these processes, with these strategies, we are all able to lead an extraordinary life. And that's what I hope for you, an extraordinary life with great results, with work-life balance, and maybe most importantly, the feeling of satisfaction at the end of the day. I want to thank you very much, and I hope to see you back in the future. Thank you.